I've been raised in a very conservative family and risk-averse family. But then with all those little risks that I started doing since 2 years ago and embracing little ambiguity, somehow I wanted to say to myself, maybe I can deal something bigger of a change like this and uprooting myself here. And my fear was only to fail. And I didn't know what's going to happen. But then with all of those little experiences that I've learned is that even with the unknowns, it is supposed to scare you. But if it scares you, it's all the more reason for you to do it. So I just did it and I'm here. So yeah, I'm still scared right now, but then as you just go by day, get to know the entire cohort, the staff here, it's been lovely so far. So I'm glad that I decided to jump in.
The biggest concern was considering uprooting the entire life I had built. My wife and I were really happy out in Hawaii. We're making a life for ourselves and had a lot of big projects and things coming up. And so the idea of foregoing all of that and even moving here, even just for 6 months or 5 months of the year, was frightening. You know, we knew our community. We were just on our pathway to success. You know, and so it was definitely a very challenging thing to consider.
So I would say my biggest concern when I was applying to Acton was that it was not the right course of action for my future. And I say that because I had a very specific plan. I was accepted and attending the Officer Candidate School for the United States Marine Corps, and I'd spent about 2 years trying to get into that. I'd had a knee injury, a lot of adversity, I'd finally been accepted. My plan was summer 2019, I'm going into the Marine Corps as an officer. So in light of the opportunity, it was, I would say, the hardest free will decision of my life to radically alter my future and choose to go to Austin, Texas and go to grad school and potentially be involved with a Jordan Peterson project. And when I really weighed out the potential costs and benefits, what I thought was that I could have a higher probability of being around people and in situations and with opportunities to affect positive change in the world if I were to choose this opportunity, the Jordan Peterson Fellowship.
My biggest concern when I first applied was definitely the workload. You hear this really high number and you think, that can't be right, can it? And you soon realize that it is right. And I think having been here for a while, it's like any kind of muscle. You work on it, you get better over time, and you do get used to it. And it's a really valuable skill to be able to handle that level of pressure.
As someone with an interest in the arts, coming into an MBA program, I thought it would just be about numbers, and I had this preconception about business people that they weren't like me, or that they were more interested in businesses than people. But what really convinced me that this school was for me was the school's focus on a higher purpose. There's a real focus on individual responsibility and achieving one's destiny. And I think that goes beyond business, it even goes beyond art, and it's something that resonates with anyone.
I had two major concerns, major fears when I applied to Acton. One was, I had spent the previous year looking at other MBA programs, and I didn't see anything that I couldn't learn on my own. And so I assumed my biggest fear was, take the risk, come out here, and it would be exactly the same as everything else. And I would get discouraged. And the other biggest fear was the amount of pressure that, when I spoke to the alumni, the amount of pressure that they had been under for the second semester, which we are in now. So the second fear was, maybe I crumble under the pressure. But one of the things I've learned is that the more I expose myself to my fears, the faster I learn and the better I become overall. So those two competing factors of whether Acton is good enough and how fearful I am of the amount of work they're going to make us during the second semester, it's sort of balanced itself out, where I'm willing to take that risk and expose myself to those fears and try and overcome them.
When I first applied, my biggest fear was whether or not I'd be able to make it, if I would be able to succeed. The reason that was because I looked at what Acton was offering, which was an opportunity to really understand entrepreneurs from some of the best entrepreneurs in the world. And you look at that and you're like, wow, like this is a heavy-hitting school, this is a big opportunity, and if I had the opportunity to go here, this could totally change my life.